Mama here. Welcome back to another sewing tutorial. This one's going to be on a floral baby doll dress with an inverted waistline that points up like so. I know that the print and the fabric aren't exactly appropriate for autumn. It's something that you would see more of during the springtime. But you know what? It's springtime in the southern hemisphere right now. And I don't think I have anyone from there, but if you are from the south, shout out to you. Anywho, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button and stay tuned until the end to see how I style the final piece.
Start with the tank top and create a v-neck. The back should be slightly rounded and hip below the armhole. On the front, bring up the waist by 2 inches. Both the top layer and lining will share this pattern. Copy the waistline to create the skirt, making sure the width and side seams are the same length on the front and back. You'll need 2 sets, one for the top layer and one for the lining. Let's start with the lining. Cut into equal strips and spreads, making sure both sides are symmetrical. For the top layer, widen the waist first by cutting the pattern in half. This will allow you to create a gathered skirt later on. Use this new pattern to create a flare skirt with the same method as before. See how the lining is smaller? I also ended up removing 2 inches from the bottom so it doesn't show behind the top layer when worn. Add half an inch seam allowance with none at the center and enough at the waist to create a casing for the elastic. For reference, mine was 1 inch. With right sides together, sew the top layer to the lining. Snip into the seam to give it some ease and sew it to the lining. You should get something like this. The stitches should not show up on top. Repeat on the back and attach it to the front. For the skirt, sew the top layer separately from the lining. Gather the top layer so the waist is equal to that of the lining. Here, I'm just using a thread and needle to sew wide stitches along the waist before I pull the thread later to gather the fabric. Pin the 2 layers together, matching at the center point, and attach the bodice. Keep in mind that the inverted waistline will be running in opposite directions when doing this, so try to maintain the inverted shape as much as possible. I had intended to add a bell sleeve, but that didn't work out so well because I ran out of fabric, so I decided to finish the armhole and skirt with some decorative elastic. Sew with the scallops facing away from the edge and try not to pull at the elastic. Flip to the wrong side and sew close to the edge. Here's how the final result looks like. Hem the lining with a serger or a zigzag stitch and fold over once. Secure with a straight stitch. Now to create the casing, hem the seam and fold it down. Sew with the right side facing up and try to catch all of the gathers. Make sure that they fold in such a way that they fall straight down when the dress is worn. Leave a gap in the casing and insert the elastic. Secure the ends together and close the casing by sewing on the front. Finally, hand stitch the shoulder seam to the lining for a clean finish. The stitches should not show up on the top layer either. Your project is now complete. The cut and print of the dress reminded me of flower girls and golden fields, so I added a thin choker that doesn't cover up the waistline and finished with boots for a rustic vibe. The scallops on the boots also add to the feminine elements of the dress. And to make it even more sweet, I layered the dress over a chiffon blouse and added pink heels for a soft, breezy look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found some inspiration. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!